They come back, you know, because you always charge more money for your farewell shows.
From Johnny Cash's quiet resting place in Tennessee to Hank Williams's grave in Alabama, the final resting places of country music's most beloved stars are as different and unique as the artists themselves. From roadside memorials to gardens of stone, these strange burial sites offer a clear picture of the lives and legacies of some of country music's most celebrated figures. Let's get into the details. Number 21, Keith Whitley.
I sure have. I've been working almost too much. It's hard to...
Places are anything but ordinary, from quiet forests to the backs of museums and even simple places, while others chose to be laid to rest in places that are just as unique as the songs they left behind. Whether it was for love, legacy, or a deep personal connection, these burial sites might surprise you. Keith Whitley was buried in a place that felt way too quiet for a voice like his, which was so loud. He was born Jackie Keith Whitley in Kentucky in 1954, and at that time, he had one of the purest voices in country music. Known for timeless songs like Don't Close Your Eyes, 10 Feet Away, Miami, My Amy, and the haunting Tell Lori I Love Her, a song which he sang for his wife, Lori Morgan. Sadly, behind the music was a heavy battle with strong drink, and unfortunately, by the break of Tuesday, May 9th, 1989, at just 34 years old, he was found lifeless in his bed. It was later discovered that his blood content was 0.47% of strong drink, with that being the major cause of his passing. What makes Keith's resting place unusual isn't its grandeur or mystery, but its simplicity. He is buried at the Spring Hill Cemetery in Nashville, Tennessee. Looking at how quiet and hidden his grave feels for someone whose voice, echoed through radios and hearts across the world, gives a strange feeling to most fans. Placed between ordinary stones and shaded by old trees, Keith's final resting spot reflects a life that ended too soon and a voice that still sings softly among the shadows. Number 20, Gram Parsons. Parsons is known for blending rock and country music. He had a short but impactful career. He was a member of the Byrds and the Flying Burrito Brothers, and his music influenced many later artists, particularly in the Americana genre. Sadly, Parsons passed on in 1973 at the age of 26 from a substance overdose. His passing at that time was unconventional, and what makes Gram Parsons' burial strange is the way it came about. After his demise, his friends, including his manager Phil Kaufman, decided to take matters into their own hands. In a way, they stole his body from the airport, intending to cremate him in the California desert. They succeeded in their mission, and Parsons' ashes were scattered in Joshua Tree National Park. However, the authorities discovered the remains and returned them to a proper burial site. Parsons was eventually buried in the Joshua Tree National Park itself, a location that reflects his deep connection to the desert. The strange aspect is that his burial was not only unconventional, but also marked by the rebellious nature of his friends, truly showcasing his legendary status in both music and folklore. Over the years, this incident surrounding his burial has stood out, but you'd be shocked by the next country star on the list. Number 19, Lynn Anderson.
I'm so surprised to find a place this gorgeous out in Dixon, Tennessee.
How about that?
Lynn Anderson was born in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and made her name in Nashville as one of country music's brightest stars. In 1970, her hit song Rose Garden exploded and turned her into a household name. She later married Harold Spook Stream. They lived on Shell Beach Drive for a while before divorcing in 1982. Lynn Anderson passed away in 2015 at age 67. Before that time, she had been hospitalized for pneumonia, but her official cause of demise was a heart attack. Lynn came from a musical family, but her success outshone everyone. She even performed for President Jimmy Carter and was the first female country singer to sell out Madison Square Garden. Despite all this, her burial spot is surprisingly low-key, as Lynn rests at Woodlawn Memorial Park and Mausoleum in Nashville, Tennessee. Her tomb is plain, marked only with her name and dates. Yet, fans bring flowers, pictures, and notes, turning this quiet spot into a touching tribute for a humble legend. Strangely, she lies just feet away from other legends she once shared stages with, making it feel like a secret country music reunion underground. Number 18, Charlie Daniels.
Well, yeah, I chew a lot of gum. I tell you, when I sing, to keep my mouth and throat moist, I chew gum.
Charlie Daniels was known as much for his strong opinions as he was for his music. Even if most people didn't agree with his political views, there's no denying his influence in country music. His biggest hit, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, is a song almost everyone knows, even if they're not country fans. Tragically, he passed away in 2020 at the age of 83 after suffering a hemorrhagic stroke. One time, his friend Roger Campbell admitted, "You might not have agreed with his politics, but you could not help but love the man." Charlie Daniels is buried at Mount Juliet Memorial Gardens in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. His grave is striking and hard to miss. It's covered by a large marble slab and features a black and gold plaque with his full name, ornate signature, birth and passing dates, and the full text of Psalm 91, verses 1 to 8. Aside from that, a flower vase stands at the head for fans and loved ones. It's no doubt a bold and outspoken grave, just like the man himself. Next on the list, we're buried together in a shared grave that feels like a memorial stage. Number 17, Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash. Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash were not just country music legends, they were soulmates. Both had successful careers on their own, but together they became a powerful duo. Johnny had timeless hits like Ring of Fire, Folsom Prison Blues, A Boy Named Sue, and I Walk the Line. June started early with her family's band and later won hearts with Grammy-winning duets alongside Johnny, such as Jackson and If I Were a Carpenter. June passed away first in May 2003 at age 73 after heart surgery. Her passing shattered Johnny well. Unfortunately, Johnny followed her just 4 months later. Chris Christopherson said Johnny still cried every night after she passed away. They now rest together at Hendersonville Memory Gardens in Hendersonville, Tennessee, but their grave isn't just a regular plot, it looks more like a stage memorial. A single large flat stone covers both graves. It has 2 gold-lettered plaques, one for each, with psalms in their signatures. A black marble bench stands at the head, inviting fans to sit and reflect. Number 16, Charlie Pride.
The best way I can give it to you, my oldest sister used to say to me, I said, well, it's my music too if I like it.
Pride is recognized as country music's first black superstar and faced significant challenges breaking into the country music scene in the 60s due to racial barriers. Despite these struggles, he became one of the genre's most successful artists, with hits like Is Anybody Going to San Antone and Kiss an Angel Good Mornin'. Pride passed away in December 2020 at the age of 86 from COVID-19 complications. Charlie Pride is buried at Calvary Hill Cemetery and Mausoleum in Dallas, Texas. What makes his burial place strange is that, despite his groundbreaking career, there isn't much publicly known about a memorial at his gravesite. His burial site may not stand out like some other country music legends' final resting places, but it's undoubtedly a significant spot for fans. The next country star on the list is an outlaw figure in country music. Number 15, Johnny Paycheck.
Barroom fight. I was carrying a gun.
Born Donald Eugene Lytle in Greenfield, Ohio, made his mark with hits like Take This Job and Shove It, She's All I Got, Slide Off of Your Satin Sheets, and Old Violin. Paycheck's rough persona was mirrored by his troubled life, which included a conviction for firing a man in 1985 at the North High Lounge in Hillsboro, Ohio. Unfortunately, Paycheck passed away in 2003 due to emphysema and asthma. At the time of his passing, he was bankrupt, and his close friend George Jones generously donated a burial plot for him. Johnny Paycheck is buried in the Forest Lawn Memorial Gardens in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. What's strange about his resting place is that despite his once larger-than-life personality in the country music world, his grave is notably simple and modest, reflecting a humble end to a man who lived a life full of highs and lows. Number 14, George Jones.
I didn't realize that you even got paid for it.
Jones, known as the Possum, was one of the most iconic country singers in history, with hits like He Stopped Loving Her Today, The Race Is On, and The Grand Tour. Despite his struggles with addiction and personal battles, Jones's career was unmatched, and his music continues to resonate with country fans worldwide. He passed away on April 26, 2013 at the age of 81 after a brief hospitalization for a fever and irregular blood pressure. George Jones is buried at Woodlawn Memorial Park Cemetery in Nashville, Tennessee, not far from other country music legends. His grave is marked with a simple yet elegant tombstone, with a message reading, "He stopped loving her today," engraved on it, reflecting the iconic song that solidified his legacy. What's strange, though, is the way his fans still gather to honor him. His gravesite has become a pilgrimage destination, with flowers, letters, and other tributes continuously being left by loyal admirers, showing the profound impact he had on the country music community. Next on the list was a country music legend who lived a life filled with both triumphs and challenges. Number 13, Whan Jennings. Jennings' hits, like MacArthur Park, fully showcased his unique style. However, his rebellious lifestyle eventually caught up with him, leading to health complications, including the loss of a foot to diabetes. Whan passed away in 2000 at the age of 64. Jennings is buried at the City of Mesa Cemetery in Mesa, Arizona. His grave features a picture of the singer, along with a Bible verse from Song of Solomon. "I am my beloved's, my beloved is mine." His epitaph captures his essence with the words, "A vagabond dreamer, a rhymer and singer of songs, a revolutionary in country music, beloved by the world." What makes his final resting place particularly unique is how his grave reflects his personality and rebellious spirit. The combination of the Bible verse and his gravestone inscription perfectly shows his impact on country music and the world. Number 12, Jerry Reed.
How you like it? Well, you look good. How you folks like it, huh?
Born Jerry R. Hubbard, he was a true multi-talented artist known for his impressive contributions to country music and acting. He earned his fame with hits like Eastbound and Down. He achieved 4 #1 records during his musical career, which spanned several decades. However, Reed's life was tragically cut short when he passed away from emphysema on September 1st, 2008, at the age of 71. Jerry Reed is buried at Forest Hill Cemetery in Nashville, Tennessee. His grave, though in a standard cemetery, is known for its relatively modest appearance compared to some other country music stars' graves. It features a simple headstone inscribed with his full name and a few personal details. Despite his fame and impact on both country music and Hollywood, what makes his burial strange is how a man known for his grand roles and flashy musical persona rests in a modest and simple grave. This quiet finality stands in complete contrast to his legendary status. The next star is no doubt one of country music's most influential voices. Number 11, Lefty Frile. Lefty was buried in a surprisingly unadorned grave in his hometown of Corsicana, Texas. He is known for his smooth vocal style, and hits like "If You've Got the Money, I've Got the Time" passed away in 1975 at the age of 49. His life was marked by both great musical success and personal struggles, including battles with strong drinks. Frizzell's final resting place in Corsicana, where he grew up, might be considered unusual because of its modesty. Despite his stature in the country music world, his grave is not marked by a grand monument, but by a small, simple headstone that bears only his name, birth, and passing dates, and the phrase, "country music legend." The simplicity of the grave reflects Frizzell's humble nature, but it also stands in contrast to the impact he had on the genre. It is strange how a legend in country music could have such a simple tribute, especially considering the grand memorials of other icons in the genre. Number 10, Kitty Wells.
I was just gonna stay home.
Often referred to as the queen of country music, Wells made history with her hit songs like "It Wasn't God Who Made Honky Tonk Angels" in 1952. This song not only became a massive hit, but also made her the first female country artist to have a #1 hit on the country charts. Kitty's career spanned decades, earning her recognition as a trailblazer for women in country music. Kitty Wells passed away in 2012 at the age of 93. She was buried at the Spring Hill Cemetery in Nashville, Tennessee, where many other famous country musicians are also laid to rest. What makes her burial site strange, however, is its location. Her grave is positioned not far from the main road, making it accessible to passing visitors, which feels less like a private memorial and more like a public tribute. Her resting place is marked with a simple yet elegant headstone, which is a contrast to the bold, trailblazing legacy she left in country music. The next country star was one of the most successful and beloved country musicians, holding the record for the most #1 country hits during his lifetime, with 55 chart-topping hits. Number 9, Conway Twitty.
On about 8 or 9 years ago. I smoked for a while, and
Twitty was not only known for his remarkable voice, but also his songwriting abilities, having written 11 of his songs that reached the top of the charts. His collaborations with Loretta Lynn, including hits like Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man, and After the Fire Is Gone, made them one of country music's most iconic duos. Twitty's funeral was private, though thousands of fans and country music legends gathered for his memorial. Conway Twitty is buried at Sumner Memorial Gardens in Gallatin, Tennessee, but what's unusual is the way he's entombed. His burial site is a tomb-style wall located outdoors, and his double tomb shares space with his wife. The tombstone is made of simple red marble with only a small image of an open Bible, and it's labeled with his real name, Harold L. Jenkins. The unusual placement of his resting place and the understated marker contrast with the picture he created during his career, making it a curious resting spot for such an icon. Number 8. Glen Campbell.
Well, I do. I hung out with the wrong guy. I'm a jewel now.
You're a jewel now?
You know, it took a while.
Campbell is known for hits like Gentle on My Mind, Wichita Lineman, and Rhinestone Cowboy. His final years were overshadowed by Alzheimer's disease after being diagnosed in 2011. Campbell bravely continued to perform, but he passed away in 2017 at the age of 81. His final resting place is in Billstown, Arkansas, at Campbell's Cemetery, a private and family-owned cemetery in his hometown. What makes Glen Campbell's burial site unique is the symbols placed on his tombstone. His grave features Jewish symbols, including menorahs and six-pointed stars, which may surprise some who associate Campbell with his Christian faith. Beneath his name and dates, the inscription reads Psalm 23, one of the most beloved passages from the Bible, which begins, "The Lord is my shepherd." What's striking about his burial is the inclusion of Jewish symbols, creating a contrast between his faith and the symbols adorning his grave, making it stand out among other country music legends' resting places. The next star on the list was one of country music's earliest superstars. Number 7. Hank Williams Sr. Williams was known for his timeless hits like Cold, Cold Heart, Your Cheatin' Heart, and Hey, Good Lookin'. His tragic and untimely passing at the young age of 29 in 1953 cut short what could have been one of the greatest music careers of all time. Williams passed away from a heart attack while on his way to a concert, battling substance use issues throughout his life. Williams is buried at Oakwood Annex Cemetery in Montgomery, Alabama. His gravesite is far from ordinary, standing out with an extravagant monument. The grave has detailed etchings of cowboys, boots, music notes, and guitars. A full-sized cowboy hat, made of marble, is also part of the design, making it a striking and unusual monument, with famous lines from his songs, such as "I'll never get out of this world alive" and "Praise the Lord, I saw the light." Additionally, his son Hank Williams Jr. has a message carved asking fans not to disrespect the spot. Number 6. Little Jimmy Dickens.
Big family, but my grandmother raised me.
Born James Cecil Dickens, he was a country music legend known for his tiny stature, standing at just 4 feet 11 inches. At the time, he was famous for his flashy rhinestone-studded outfits, which became his signature look. Dickens became a member of the Grand Ole Opry in 1948 and was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1983. At the time of his passing in 2015, he was the oldest living member of the Grand Ole Opry at the age of 94. He is buried at the Woodlawn Memorial Park Cemetery in Nashville, Tennessee, not far from other country music stars. His grave is marked with a modest headstone, but the strange part comes from the life-size statue of him that stands proudly outside the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, where he spent much of his career. The statue has become a lasting tribute to his contributions to country music, creating an unusual and heartfelt memorial for a man who was small in size, but huge in impact. Number 5. Porter Wagner.
Well, I tell you, the flashy costume is certainly not this.
No.
But I just got off the stage and
He was a pioneering figure in country music with a career that spanned decades, and at some point he was known for his iconic TV show, The Porter Wagner Show, which aired from 1960 to 1981. Porter helped launch the career of Dolly Parton, who worked with him on the show from 1966 to 1974. Due to his contributions to country music, he earned the title Mr. Grand Ole Opry for his many contributions to the genre. Wagner was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2002 and had a lasting impact on the industry. He passed away at the age of 80 from lung cancer on October 28, 2007. Porter Wagner is buried at the Woodlawn Memorial Park in Nashville, Tennessee, close to the city's heart of country music. What makes his burial spot strange is how noticeable his grave is, marked by a large, fancy tombstone that looks almost like a monument. This large marker stands out in the cemetery and reflects Wagner's persona in the music world. It's unusual to see such an imposing memorial at a cemetery, as most graves are marked with smaller, simpler headstones. The next star on the list is known as the First Lady of Country Music. Number 4, Tammy Wynette.
Great song for me. I really can't complain about anything about that song. It's been wonderful.
Tammy is celebrated for hits like Stand By Your Man, I Don't Want to Play House, among others. She passed away in 1998 at just 55 years old due to a blood clot in her lung. Tammy Wynette is buried at Woodlawn Memorial Park and Mausoleum in Nashville, Tennessee. The strange aspect of her burial site is that, while her tombstone initially appeared simple, fans and mourners have transformed it over the years. People leave flowers, photos of Wynette, small tokens of appreciation, and even lipstick kisses on the grave, turning it into a personal tribute. This makes her burial place unique, as it has become a place for fans to express their love and admiration in a very personal, emotional way that has never been seen in the history of country music. Number 3, Paty Klene.
Say, Bobby, do you remember me? I'm the one who loves you.
Even though her career lasted just a few years, Klene gave the world timeless hits like I Fall to Pieces and Crazy. Unfortunately, Patsy passed on in a tragic plane crash in 1963 at just 30 years old. At that time, to many, Patsy was like a religion to them. Reverend Nathan Williamson said, "It was something very unusual. All those crowds, and so respectful too." But that respect vanished at the cemetery. A reporter described the scene as fans rushed the grave, grabbing whatever they could from the burial site, short of stealing the gold-finished coffin. Patsy Klene is buried at Shenandoah Memorial Park in Frederick County, Virginia. Her flat double marker is shared with her husband, Charles Dick. It shows her birth name with Patsy Klene in parentheses below. The beautiful yet haunting write-up states that demise cannot make lifeless what never passes on, love. Number 2, Kenny Rogers.
I've had this pet peeve about guys that say goodbye 10 times.
Kenny Rogers was a true legend, a crossover country music star with a career that lasted 60 years. He won 3 Grammys and gave fans unforgettable hits like Lucille, The Gambler, and Islands in the Stream, his famous duet with Dolly Parton. After a lifetime of success and music, Rogers finally retired in 2017. He tragically passed on just 3 years later in 2020 at the age of 81. Sadly, fans were not able to celebrate him properly when he passed away. His passing happened during the peak of the pandemic, so no large funeral could be held. Kenny Rogers is buried at Oakland Cemetery in Atlanta, Georgia. But unlike the other simple gravestones around, Rogers lies in a giant black marble tomb that looks like a Greek temple. It has 6 large columns and is topped with a marble circle engraved with his name and the words, "Will the circle be unbroken?" Strangely, it looks more like a monument for royalty than a country music star. The last country star on the list was buried on his ranch, behind locked gates. Number 1, Merle Haggard.
A while back, he called me on the phone. "Chief, you're the king." He said, "You've got more nominations than anybody." Had noticed that, but it's nice to find.
Haggard is remembered as one of the biggest legends in country music, and he was referred to as the single most influential singer-songwriter in country music history, except maybe Hank Williams Sr. His powerful voice lives on through timeless songs like Mama Tried and Big City. He passed away in 2016 at the age of 79 from pneumonia. Haggard's funeral was held on his own property at his ranch, with security making sure only a select few entered. His grave is even more hidden. He was buried at the Haggard Family Ranch Cemetery in Palo Cedro, California. It's private land, and unless you trespass, you can't get close. No gravestone images are publicly known. Strangely, his grave might be only feet from a fence line, yet it's still one of the most unreachable burial sites in all of country music. Unfortunately for fans who might want to pay their respects, his final resting place is just as private as his funeral was. The strange and unique burial places of these iconic country music stars give us a clear picture of their extraordinary lives and legacies, whether it's in remote locations, private cemeteries, or unusual resting spots. Each burial reflects their distinct personalities and contributions to music, making us reflect on how these stars' journeys went beyond the stage. What do you think about these unusual resting spots? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.